Do you know a secret? Some of the most brilliant women in academia feel like they don't belong. Ever feel like you're just faking it in academia? Like only it's a matter of time before someone finds out that you don't belong. You're not alone, girls. But remember, you've got the degree, you've got the data, and you are dedicated. So why do you still feel like a fraud? Let's talk about imposter syndrome and how to finally silence it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Rad's Research Room, and today I will tell you how I tackled the challenges of overcoming imposter syndrome in research and navigated these tough feelings. Imposter syndrome is a pervasive issue that affects across fields, but especially women in research and academics. It's that nagging feeling at the back of your head of being a fake, feeling that you're just pretending to be someone in a position, in a particular position, and that you're not actually good enough. And I think it's safe to say that almost every woman in academia has experienced this feeling at some point. I will never forget the moment when I felt the same way. And I didn't even know what this feeling was called, that it's some kind of syndrome. Now, let me tell you how this happened. I had just finished my master's and I had started working in a lab with a PhD student on a project, and I was a project trainee. So, before starting any experiment, he had this very unconventional way of going back to the basics and asking me all sorts of questions related to that particular experiment or assay. And I realized that although I had a master's degree, I couldn't even answer half of those things he asked me. And I started feeling really overwhelmed. Self doubt started creeping in. I doubted my abilities and wondering whether I was good enough. But then I took a step back. I looked at my achievements, I looked at all the things I'd accomplished so far, and I realized that I was capable, I was worthy. And that, my friends, was a turning point in my life. I started focusing on what I had learned so far. I brushed up on my knowledge, recalled my basics, and I learned to strategize to formulate answers to the questions. And I was good to go. So the question is, why do we women actually always feel not good enough? One reason is that women in academia face a unique set of challenges that can exacerbate this imposter syndrome. We are often expected to be perfect, to have it all together, and to be a superwoman. We are expected to be great researchers, great teachers, great mentors, all while being likable and relatable. It's a lot of pressure and it can be overwhelming. Self doubt starts creeping in, and we start to wonder whether we're really cut out for this kind of life. Another major reason is societal expectations, and these can be a huge burden on us. We are often stereotyped as being more nurturing, being collaborative, and these can often be viewed as weaknesses in competitive lab or academic environments. And let's be real, although there are many opportunities, more inclusivity these days, still there are many people who think women don't belong in academia. Or they think that we are attention seekers and we are here only to look pretty and glam up the lab. And these can be really frustrating. It can make us doubt our abilities. And together, all these factors, they impact our career progression significantly. The imposter syndrome can hold us back from taking risks, applying for grants, promotions, awards, even speaking up in meetings. We might feel that we are not ready or we are not good enough, or we even worry about the room judging us at all times. This constant self doubt leads to missed opportunities. But here's the thing, you're not alone. So, follow my stepwise plan and we can overpower this demon. So, first step is to recognize the signs. Imposter syndrome often shows up as feeling like a fraud despite your evident success, and you start to chalk these successes and accomplishments to luck or just good timing. So there's fear of being found out. reluctance to apply for promotions, awards, and any speaking opportunities. So, awareness is the first step. Label this feeling when it arises. Call it the imposter syndrome is talking. Second step is to talk about it. Talk about your feelings. Silence feeds the imposter syndrome. So start conversations with your trusted mentors, peers, especially women in STEM fields or in academia. There are women academic circles, writing groups, research forums. So seek help from even professional therapists and academic coaches and counselors if you need to. You will discover that these feelings are common and they are prevalent even among the highly accomplished women in academia. Third important thing to do is always refrain from any negative self talk. Instead of saying, I don't belong here, try, I'm still learning, and that's okay. For example, if you're in your first year of PhD and that would be immediately after masters, you might need to Google some basic concepts or to understand some mechanisms. You might read articles, you might even go through Wikipedia, and that's okay. You don't need to know everything on day one or even the first year or even thereafter. It's okay to learn as you go because that's what help you grow. And others may look confident, but remember, they might be also struggling and they might just not be open to admitting it right now. So never forget that I earned my place here. Use your evidence based positive affirmations. All the positive feedback on your published articles, thesis, awards, degree, any compliments from your colleagues and collaborators. This will fuel your drive. Understand your systemic roots because imposter syndrome is often a response to the structural inequity that we face, lack of representation. Because we know that women across all fields, especially in academia, are highly underrepresented. Check out my previous video on gender bias in academia. So do not fret that something's wrong with you. It's not you. You are not broken. It is the system that needs fixing. And seeking equity is not whining, it's courageous because you are demanding your place in the system. Fifth is build a supportive network. Surround yourself with women, mentors, and role models who thrive on uplifting other women in their early career stages. Interact with international peers, research groups, form allies with your collaborators and colleagues who advocate equality, diversity. Collaboration over competition is what builds resilience. It will help you overcome your syndrome. Set realistic benchmarks. Now, we women tend to always over prepare to prove ourselves, and that's not necessary, girls. Instead, try to embrace good enough when needed. Celebrate your small wins, submitting a paper, asking a question, presenting a poster. Now, even when I was a PhD student, I used to shy away from asking questions in meetings and roundtable discussions, always assuming that everyone in the room knows more than me and they would mock me or laugh at me if I asked something impertinent. Now, that's when my PhD mentor taught me that take up space. It is okay to ask naive or simple questions. Why? Because if you think that others in the room know more than you, then they should be able to clarify your doubts. They should be able to educate you. Make sure that you are being heard. Being seen and being heard is making your presence felt. And this is the stepping stone to building a very strong network in academia. And this will help you when you're applying for future fellowships, grants, or any kind of promotions. And remember, girls, that confidence often follows action, it's not the other way around. Another important thing to do is to acknowledge your self growth. Track your progress, not perfection, because perfectionism is a mask to hide your fear. No one is perfect. So assess what you have learned over the past quarter or the past 6 months. How have you helped others, students, colleagues? What fears have you addressed and overcome? Review your old drafts of papers, manuscripts, thesis, presentations, and see how you have progressed and evolved over that time period. I still do that. I have been an academic editor for more than 10 years, and you can contact me at manuscriptease.com for any help on thesis writing, manuscript writing, presentation skills, daily academic life, etc. So I check out my previous manuscripts and I compare them with what I've done today, and I see how I have progressed and improved over this time period. It motivates me, boosts my morale, and to do even better so that I can help you students and colleagues communicate your science rather effectively. Now, this factor I cannot stress hard enough. Practice some self-compassion. Now, being a woman is hard enough in academia. So give yourself some credit of showing up every day. Take those breaks. Yes, we know that research is not a 9 to 5 job. It demands long hours and sometimes sacrificing even weekends. So take that well deserved long weekend. Do not wait for the perfect vacation of the year. You need to recharge and rejuvenate at regular intervals without the guilt, because failure is part of research journey. And once you understand that, you will take your mistakes as learning moments and move further. Finally, I would recommend some resources. For example, connect with communities of women in academia, like 500 women scientists groups, or Slack groups, or academic X groups, etc. Connect with these women through webinars, through workshops, seminars, and these are usually conducted by universities, institutes. Do check out your own institute as well. Even some government organizations, non-profit organizations, or even corporates. Talk to women across various disciplines, various fields, and you will find that it is a very common phenomenon that women feel this day: imposter syndrome. And if you need help finding these organizations, or you need help finding any books, self-help or self-motivation books, please do comment in the comment box below and I will send you a list of these. So we need to have people around us who believe in us, who encourage us, and who notice our strengths. And for that also, each one needs to recognize their own abilities. We need to acknowledge our own successes. We need to be able to compliment each other and also accept compliments graciously. One of the most powerful things we can do is to share our experiences with others. This will help each other connect and overcome these fears. This will help us overcome imposter syndrome, because that can happen only with resilience, community support, and challenge our innermost negative thoughts. So girls, if you are struggling or have struggled at any point with the imposter syndrome, I would like to know. So please share your experiences, your challenges in the comment box below, and tell me what other videos on self-help or empowerment of women in academia you need, so that you can navigate your research journey with ease. And do not forget to like this video if you found helpful. Share it with a woman colleague in academia who might need that little bit morale booster to overcome her own syndrome. And subscribe to my channel Rad's Research Room for more such tips and insights into academic life, and I will help you navigate your research journey no matter what career stage you are. So till then, stay tuned, strive for knowledge, and see you in the next video.